Have you ever seen a person filled with so much promise and potential abandon everything they knew as normal and leave it all behind? Well, before the world came to know of the famed King David from the Bible, a man after God's own heart, this same David found himself on the run in fear for his life on several occasions. David had already been anointed king by prophet Samuel long ago. He already served in the house of King Saul, and he found himself on the run for his life due to Saul's jealousy and evil intentions. So David fled to the wilderness and pitched his tent there, and shortly after heard that Saul was pursuing him in the wilderness. So he and one of his men went by night to search for Saul, and they found him in the late night hours. David's comrade said to him, "Your enemy is here asleep. Here's your opportunity to end it all." Yet David answered to his comrade, "The Lord forbid that I should stretch forth mine hand against the Lord's anointed." David decided not to kill Saul, and he decided to leave the wilderness, and he went to dwell among the Philistines, enemies of Israel, of which David had already killed Goliath, their champion. David took 600 of his men along with their families into the land of the enemies, and the king of the Philistines was so gracious enough to give them a city to live in named Ziklag. Some time passed by, and the Philistines found themselves at war with Israel once again, and the king of the Philistines asked David to go with them. So David obliged, prepared he and his mighty men for war, and took their journey to the fight. But some captains in the Philistine army didn't trust David and his intentions in the battle, so everyone agreed that David and his men should journey back to Ziklag. 1 Samuel 30, 1 through 4 and 6. And it came to pass when David and his men were come to Ziklag on the third day that the Amalekites had invaded the south and Ziklag and smitten Ziklag and burned it with fire, and had taken the women captives. They slew not any, either great or small, but carried them away and went on their way. So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burned with fire, and their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken captive. Then David and the people that were there lifted up their voice and wept until they had no more power to weep. And David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of all the people was grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters. But David encouraged himself in the Lord, his God. David built himself up using words of joy, words of comfort, words of hope and assurance that were backed by foundational principles and everlasting precepts found in God's word. He was able to de-escalate the group of people who wanted to stone him. He was able to retrieve everyone's wife and children that were taken captive. In the process of the time, David was able to rightfully claim his place on the throne, and he sat as king. There's a proverb that says, when there is no enemy on the inside, the enemy on the outside can do us no harm. How much more do you think it can help you shape your character or remove internal blocks to greatness? Personally, I have 7 affirmations that I use for self-encouragement.